Hey everybody, welcome back to another activity. This happens for me to be the Friday right before spring break starts. So this is going to be my last lesson that I post for a week, and then I will start posting again, not the Monday coming up, but the Monday after that. So I'm going to take a little break here from my spring break, and then we'll be back in session. Okay, so today's activity is kind of a long one, but it's an interesting one for an interesting time. You know, we're doing this unusual thing right now where we are having school at home. So a lot of students are trying to do school at home with their families helping them out, and a lot of teachers are trying to be teachers from their home. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to write about that. We're going to write an essay about what that's like. And I'm going to write an essay first about what it's like to be a teacher from home. And then you're going to write an essay yourself about what it's like to try to be a student from your house. So basically you'll get to see me do the essay first, and I'll show you how to do it, and I'll show you what parts you need to have there. And then you'll get to do one too. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to think about the positives and the negatives about being a student at home. And I'm going to think about the positives and the negatives about being a teacher from home. And you're going to make a list of the positives and the negatives. And you need to have at least 3 positives. Those are the good things. Positives are the good things about being a student at home instead of a student at school. And you need to have at least 3 negatives, things that you don't like about being a student at home. And I'll write 3 things that I don't like about being a teacher at home. So I'm going to make that list right now. Okay, so first I'll do the positives first. I'll do the good things about being a teacher at home. The first good thing is I can make whatever schedule I want. I don't have to get up really early if I don't want to. I don't have to start teaching right at 9 o'clock like I used to have to. I could start a little earlier if maybe I want to finish early, or I could start a little later. So I can make any schedule I want. The second good thing is that I don't have to worry about any kids not listening to me or behaving badly. I don't have to sit there telling kids, hey, sit up, and hey, you're not listening, or scoot away from that person, stop talking to them. All those things that I sometimes have to do as a teacher. I don't have to do any of those now. Another positive is I'm learning how to make movies. I kind of secretly always wanted to be a movie director, so this is my big chance. I'm learning how to make movies, and that's kind of fun. So those are my three positives, that I can make any schedule I want. I don't have to worry about kids behaving badly. And I'm learning how to make movies. Now I'm going to list the negatives, the things I don't like about being a teacher at home. The first one, absolutely, I don't get to see my students. I don't get to talk to them. I don't get to listen to them. I don't get to do any of that. I really miss that. You know, one of the best things about being a teacher is your students become part of your family, and I really miss that. Another thing that I don't like about being a teacher at home is that if someone needs help with something, I can't help them. If someone doesn't know how to do the math or the writing or the reading, I can't help them with it. I don't even know that they need help. I can't do anything about that. A third thing I don't like is that I don't get to see any of my teacher friends. I don't get to my colleagues, as we say. Your colleagues are the people you work with. I never get to see my colleagues. I don't get to talk to them. We can email each other. We can text message each other, but it's not the same as getting to see them in the hallway or see them during lunch and talking about our work. So that's the third negative. All right, so I've got my 3 positives about being a teacher at home, and I've got 3 negatives about being a teacher at home. And you're going to do it about being a student. You're going to think of 3 things you like about being a student at home, not just about being at home, but about being a student at home. You're not just writing 3 things you like about your house. You're writing 3 things you like about having school at your house. And then 3 things you don't like about that. And again, it's not 3 things you don't like about your house. It's 3 things you don't like about trying to be a student at your house. Now that we've got those, we're ready to start our essay. And for a good essay, you need to start with an introduction. Before you start telling your good things and your bad things, you need to have some kind of beginning, some kind of introduction to your essay. It could be a question, like I could ask a question like, do you like school? If school was gone, would you miss it? That's one way I could start my essay. I could start my essay with a riddle. I could make a riddle like, what's really big, full of rooms, and has a place you can play? School. School is a place we go to all the time, but what would you do if you couldn't go? That could be my introduction. I could start with some kind of joke about school. I don't have a joke ready to go about school right now, but you could look up jokes about school on the internet. That's a good place to find jokes. Just make sure if you're looking up jokes about school on the internet, you're doing it with a grown-up to help you. Get a grown-up to help you find jokes if you want to start your essay with a joke. And another thing you could start with is just some kind of general statement about school. Like you could say, some people like school, some people don't like school, but what if you couldn't go to school at all? So those are different ways to begin. I'm going to begin with a question. In fact, I'm going to ask a few questions. So my introduction is going to sound like this. Do you like school? Do you like teachers? I'm a teacher, but right now I have to teach from my house instead of from my classroom. And let me tell you, it's weird. So that's my introduction. Now that I've written my introduction, I can get into the body of essay where I'm going to write about my positives and my negatives. And there's two ways to do this. You could write one of your positives and then a negative right after it, and then another positive and a negative, and then another positive and then a negative. So you kind of sandwich them all together. Or you could write all your positives first and then all your negatives. Or you could write all your negatives first and then all your positives. What I've decided to do is I'm going to write all the things I like about teaching at home first, and then I'm going to write about all the things I don't like about teaching at home. And please don't just list them, right? I'm not just going to say, I like having my own schedule. I like not having behavior problems. I like learning how to make movies. And man, my story sounds kind of boring like that. You want to make it sound fun. So here is how I'm going to write about my positives and my negatives, with the positives first. Yawn. Sometimes I'm so tired in the morning when I'm teaching, but now I can wake up whenever I want because I don't have to be at school so early, which is nice. Another nice thing is that I don't have to worry about kids not listening to me. Hey, you, sit up and listen. Just kidding. There's nobody there. Also, I've been learning how to make movies, which is nice because I've always wanted to do that. Lights, camera, action. But really, it's not so great. I never get to see my students or play with them on the playground or talk to them or listen to them. If one of them needs help with something, there's nothing I can do. I don't even know they need help. Another problem is that I don't get to see the other teachers at my school, and I miss talking to them about our work and planning fun activities with them. All right, so there's the body. So I have my introduction, and I have the body of my essay. And now I'm going to write a conclusion to my essay. And there's different parts, there's different things you can do with a conclusion. You could do an invitation. An invitation is where you invite your reader to do something. Like, you could say like, I hope the next time you see your teacher, you give them a big hug. Or, I hope I get to go back to school soon. Or maybe you might say, I hope I get to stay at home forever. You can, or if it's an invitation, you have to say, I hope you get to stay home forever and be a student at home. An invitation is inviting the person reading your essay to do something. You could also finish with some kind of a generalization, which is just a general statement like, sometimes school is good, sometimes school is not so good, but I think I'll be ready to go back to school when it's time. Just some kind of general statement to close it out. Another ending my students really like is a twist ending, some kind of surprising twist on the end. That's a little hard to do with this kind of an essay, but if you're one of my students and you want to try to put a twist on it, go for it.